Hey, this is Jared White. I guess somewhere between level. I don't know. So I might be level 1. We'll figure this out.
I'm Bryce Lensing, 30 years old, and I am a 0.5, so 0.5 level MGTOW.
And I'm Joshua B. Easy, and I'll say I'm a 0.5 level MGTOW as well. And this is the Takeoff Anytime podcast. Okay, this is another episode of Takeoff Anytime podcast. In this episode, we are going to talk about the levels of MGTOW. All right, now for those who don't know what MGTOW is or looking at us like, what the fuck does that mean?
It's okay. We didn't know 15 minutes ago either. At least I didn't know.
Yeah. So,
Jared knew.
kind of what we're getting from this is that MGTOW is a multiple level stage type of belief on how men interact with women and believe what women are and do to the society of men, in a way, per se.
I mean, the way I understood it was more just like the feelings of man, of like where you sit ideal. What's your ideology about the whole relationship situation? Because it seemed like a lot of men who came up with this concept have been in long-term relationships and have been in either bad relationships or been burned by relationships, and therefore that changed their perspective of relationships altogether, which caused them to kind of like make like degrees of how they felt. You know, some are more extreme than the others, so they had to be levels.
Degrees are levels, which is there's 5 levels of this.
6.
6?
If you count level 0, it's their 6.
Okay. If we count level 0, there's 6.
So level 0 basically is, I'm reading this right from the screen. Men who get married after the year 2000 and are oblivious to how poorly society treats men. The next level, which I feel is important to say to explain why me and Josh are a 0.5, is rejects. Level 1 is aware MGTOW, rejects marriage and cohabitation in any sort. Only engages in, hookups and stuff. No, that was the next level.
Right. You fucking up already.
Yeah, I am fucking up already.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
All right. So, level 0, I'm going to say it real quick. Blue pill. Men who got married after the year 2000 and oblivious to how poorly society treats men. They are female utilities, ATM, simps, vaginas, and white knights. So pretty much these are the people who just get ran over by women. According to this chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Level 1 is aware MGTOW, rejects marriage and cohabitation of any sort, which might be classified as common law marriage, picking up for a single mother's children, or any action which might be used in court to turn him into her legal indentured servant, but still engage in long-term relationships with strict guidelines set on females. So basically, this is like a person who will still go through, I guess, quote unquote, the struggle, but with a lot of caution.
Right, with boundaries. Put up.
So to me, I'm gonna kind of stop it here and we can pick it up. It kind of feels like this is where one person has been hurt in the past. This is the first step you take. You say, okay, I don't want to get out the game altogether, but I don't want to go through the same thing again. So
right.
I'm gonna put up.
That's why me and Bryce are 0.5. There's no 0.5 on this list, but we're 0.5 because we don't agree with the fact of basically.
Mind if I jump in here?
Well, you never let me explain to jump the fuck in.
Well, you look like you were struggling, so.
Because I was trying to use the right words, but go ahead, say what you want to say.
So the reason that I take an issue, I won't speak on behalf of Josh. Not that I think he's going to be wrong, but not in this instance. And also the reason I take issue with this is because level 0 basically says that men who are oblivious to how poorly society treats men, and basically the way that they list level 1 basically says that men who. It basically says that any man who accepts marriage, because the next level is rejects marriage. Mm-hmm. Any man who accepts marriage is, either oblivious or just completely.
All these kind of derogatory things.
Yeah, basically it's
A
saying
female
that they're
a
foolish.
Simp, mangina. Like what the fuck?
It's basically saying that if you're level 0, you're foolish and you're a dumbass.
Right.
And then step 1 says, and then level 1 you reject marriage. And I feel like that doesn't leave any room for any moderation.
Not at all.
Because it's one of those things that I do. One thing that I talk about, and you can find these videos out there. Go watch one of the videos, come back, and then watch our episode twice. We need the views. Is, one of the things that they talked about and that is, brought up later is, divorce. We've talked about this both from individuals on this podcast that have personal experience with divorce or, splitting from someone you had kids with. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, that is something where I think there's a definite inequality that exists. So, but I feel like that, you can still believe that without being a full-on level 1. And obviously you, sir, are engaged. So obviously you're not a full-on level 1 by this definition.
No, not at all. But I don't agree with a lot of this shit because level 1 saying picking up single moms' children. I have never seriously taken a woman seriously that had kids. So
Really?
no.
Okay.
I mean, I've dated a woman with kids before, but
right.
But I didn't really per se take her seriously.
I mean, I imagine it changes the dynamic no matter what. But
right, and
but this seems to say that somebody who does, get married to somebody who already has kids, that basically the man is, basically fucking, taping up his testicles, cutting them off or some shit, just because he's, married to somebody who has a kid. Like, he's not having his own life. He's letting the other woman take over his life with their kid.
And this list really is kind of.
But I mean, but that's the whole idea behind it in a sense.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole idea about this is basically, well, I mean, what it stands for, men going their own way. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Is basically it's about men reclaiming their quote unquote freedom, which, fuck, we'll get on that later. Fuck.
But I mean, yeah, these are extreme cases. That's why I said like this. I don't know if this chart.
But from 0 to 1, I mean, even 0 is kind of extreme. That's the thing.
Is kind of extreme.
Yeah, 0 to 1, according to this chart.
But I mean, I guess that's the whole point of this is that it's extreme.
But I guess it really depends on the person though, because some people take rejection or hurt so much more extreme than other people would do.
But see, that's the key thing, and that's what I believe that this whole thing is about, and I think you'll agree with this based on what you just said, is this whole fucking thing exists because of men who got hurt and didn't take it well, and so they decided that all women are trying to take advantage of men.
Or at least a huge majority of women.
To me, this kind of way of thinking is kind of like, what was it, the He-Man Woman Haters Club? Remember from Little Rascals?
Yeah.
When you're young and you don't like women, you think women are nasty, they have cooties, and you just don't want nothing to do with them, just like we were when we were little kids.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, but it's kind of like whoever made this up and whoever lives by this kind of kept that same mentality, through adulthood.
Yeah.
So you just want to run through the rest of them?
Yeah.
I guess so. Level 2 would be reject all form of long-term personal relationships with women. They only engage in sex, flings, and short-term open relationships with women. They are pseudo pua. I don't know what pua is. I have a friend named Pua, but she's cool as hell. They only use females for sexual purposes. Now, I would say this. After I went through my divorce, I would say maybe I was a level 2.
And see, that makes sense to me because when you're and obviously this is nothing personal, this is just in general. After you go through divorce, same thing with my dad did this. He didn't want to date. He even told me, this is, women will just, hurt you. That's all.
Yeah.
Women are just going to hurt you. And it's like, even the individual he got divorced from, even I'm sitting here thinking like, she didn't divorce you just to hurt you, but it's short-sighted thinking to think that it's so black and white that it's either one, she's going to divorce you to hurt you, or 2, she's going to be happy with you. There's no middle ground.
You see, but that's the thing. Remember we guys spoke about marriage and relationships and breaking up before,
Mm-hmm.
and I had said the worst things that a person can do when they break up with someone is not tell them why. See, I think in a lot of situations, especially with this, you know, when I got divorced, I didn't have a real clear reason to why I was getting divorced. I just knew she was done with me and was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that made me like, you know, extremely angry.
Yeah.
You know, to the point where I was like, well, what's the point of me even getting into a relationship if all I want to do is get hurt in the end? I might as well just fuck him and leave him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So basically, what you guys are saying that men periodically go in and out of this way of thinking based on their relationship status in a way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we
Well,
didn't
just where they are in life.
we didn't really explain what the acronym MGTOW means. MGTOW means men going their own way. That's what each step what it means. MGTOW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
MGTOW.
yeah. I mean, it definitely derives from someone who's been hurt. It has to be. Because you'll never have this ideal. You'll never have this way of thinking.
If you have this way of thinking before getting hurt, then you're really fucked up.
Yeah, either you're a real person who, like, you're the type of person who all your friends have been hurt, and you're just like, whoa, I don't want that same situation. So you have this idea because they've all told you this is bad. You know what I'm saying?
But I guess on that note, though, the people who, you know, cause I'm sure there are people fucking out there who have this that have never, you know, not been in a relationship. But I think a lot of those people even are still going to come from a place of hurt because you hear shit about, like, getting friend zoned and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that's never true. But at the same time, a woman doesn't owe you anything.
Mm-hmm.
And because, fuck, I can't say the name on this podcast. Otherwise, I'm going to start some shit. I know some women, one in particular that I'm thinking of. You might know who I'm talking about, Josh, who, you know, seems to think the other way around. It's a woman who seems to think, you know, that any guy that she wants to be with that doesn't want to be with her has friend zoned her. And you know, it's funny because people don't think about it like that, but that shit happens all the way around too.
I have no clue what the fuck you're talking about.
We'll say it later.
I don't either.
I'll tell you later.
See, but I have a kind of a theory about that. Not maybe not a theory, but like a idea about that, because I feel like if dudes were to use women, right? Say we keep them around, we're not using them for this idea. Well, I don't know, because it's hard. Because a lot of dudes, if we keep a girl around and we're not really want to be one, we're just literally just fucking. You know what I'm saying? We don't try to play with the emotions of them. You know, but I guess in a way you do, and that's the problem. But men are just very direct when they say, you know, I just want to have sex with you. But it seems like women will bring you around, string you along for a longer time with this idea that you're going to end up in like this fairy tale relationship.
Yeah, men do that too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's kind of hard.
So,
but I think one is just more like the physical side is more upfront than the other, than the emotional.
There's definitely, I think, stereotypes with each one. You know, you think of certain scenarios and you think of it happening more with a man or a woman.
Right.
But I think that's possible with anything.
I wonder, do women have a fake town?
No,
what?
no,
Fake town.
no, they don't, because
Women going their own way.
no, it's called hardcore feminism. That's what it's called.
Hardcore feminism.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because look, man, what was it? Bryce, you and I were talking about this briefly before, earlier, right? And I was saying, and there's nothing, I guess, inherently wrong with feminism. It's just, you know, all extreme forms of anything can be bad.
Agreed.
But I always feel like women these days, and I think I know why this is now. Like, I understand why this is now. This wasn't decades before, because people used to get married back in the day. I felt like they understood more. Like, together, it was more of a survival. There was more of happiness together, because it was a struggle to do anything, you know, back then. Especially if you weren't rich, you were hurting. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was yes, but not just that. But to your point, marriage was more of a contract.
Yeah.
I feel like this came up on previous. Me and you had this conversation maybe on a previous episode, but no, you know, marriage. You know, you think about 90s, 80s, 70s, even maybe go back to World War II. It was a contract. You know, even if the man was a sole provider, you know, it was the woman's job to keep the house clean, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But in that way, to your point, it was still more of a I forgot the phrase you used. But anyways, you know, marriage nowadays seems to be more about the emotional aspect than it ever has been in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marriage nowadays definitely is more about love than, like you said, a contract.
Yeah.
You know, because people back in the day used to get married
And you stay together for the family. You stay together because the way it looks socially. You stay together for the kids.
Right. They would basically get married to advance in power in society.
Yeah.
So they bring two wealthy families together, you know, to bring kingdoms together.
Yeah, but I'm
you know,
not,
for things such as that.
Social
well,
status.
I'm not talking about like the medieval days. I'm talking about like, you know, like
I mean,
the 60s, the 40s.
That's what
40s,
we're
50s.
talking about too.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Because
still today.
Well, maybe I think about it totally different because I don't think love exists as much as it did before. I think love.
I would also agree with that for the same reason.
You said love doesn't exist as much as it did before.
Yeah, what I mean
Oh,
is
you
like,
said does not?
yeah.
Oh, shit.
What I mean is like this. I think there's love still today, obviously, right? People do love each other. You can tell when you're in love because, you know, if you don't see a person for fucking 10 minutes and you go crazy, that's a weird form of love, but it's love. You know what I'm saying? You can't really explain it. You just know you have
Depends
it.
on the crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you start calling, where you at? You know, that's crazy. But
Why didn't you text me?
yeah.
Who the fuck you with?
Yeah, that's
fucking on nigga?
not love. That's just crazy. But you know,
And we all know somebody like that too.
That's a matter of opinion.
but what I'm saying is like,
That's
I don't-
love, but it's warped.
yeah, but what I mean is like, I
That's
feel like
opinion.
things maybe because it was the cause of the times of what was going on. Like it wasn't as much independence for women before. You know what I mean? Like women didn't have as much say in the government and politics. Like if they weren't in the kitchen, pretty much like no one really gave a shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, and I'm not saying that I want things to go back. I don't. I'm happy that women have more independence. But I feel like with this independence, you start to realize that people become more about themselves. You know? And I always felt like when dudes get married, at least in today's standards, dudes typically marry out of love. You know what I'm saying? Or in the sense like we don't want to lose you. You know, we might not be ready for marriage, but we don't want to take the chance of losing you.
So right now you're talking about the difference of why men get married in comparison to women.
Yeah. So, but I think a lot of women these days kind of think about, okay, the life change it's going to bring for them. You know, I don't think dudes think so far ahead that go like, oh, when we get together, we're going to be able to have this house. We're going to have this Lamborghini. We're going to take all these trips. He's just like, we're going to be together. You know what I'm saying?
Men are definitely more one-track minded when it comes to relationship and marriage.
Yeah, and you know, and I think women are seeing more of a broader picture. They're going, okay, together we have two salaries. You know, together we have, you know, I can focus on this because I don't have to worry about this half of my life. You know, and that's what I feel like. But the problem with that is a person who has become so independent also can become narcissistic and for themselves. And when you start living for yourself, you don't really think about that guy. And I think that's where this MGTOW stuff comes in, because once a woman starts thinking like, okay, well, I can do good. I can be by myself and be just fine. Then what's the point of having you around? You know what I mean?
I'm listening to you.
So it's like, so you're like, man, like we are like hardwired to want sex. You know what I'm saying? A good amount of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And women, a good amount of them, you know, maybe I'm just talking stereotypically, but you know,
you're definitely talking stereotypical.
Yeah,
no
you know.
question there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems like, you know, they can have sex, but they don't fiend for as much as we do. You know what I'm saying?
Majority of women, I'll kind of agree to that statement.
Yeah, and it's nothing. It's just, you know, maybe the libido levels are different.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with that, women think a lot broader, you know. So they're not way down. Like we almost like if we get married, we depend on this one person, and that's all we're gonna look for, because you know they can get emotional support and mental stimulation for anyone, but man thrives so much on physical that if you get into a relationship like this, a monogamous relationship, you have to depend on her. You know, and then if your libido levels are totally different, then you're going to hurt a lot more than she is. So I think I kind of understand when they say like men are starting to think like, well, damn, I put all my efforts into being with this woman because physically I need her, that it hurts me in every other aspect of my life. You see what I mean? So that's why, like, when we were watching that video and he was saying like Nikola Tesla was like a big icon in his community because he was just a bachelor. You know what I'm saying? Like, he created all these great inventions, did all these great things.
And what Jared is referencing is on the video that we watched. The guy said, you know, if Nikola Tesla was not a bachelor, he would not have gotten as much done.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with it because I remember.
I agree with it in the sense that for me personally, if I was not married right now, I'd probably be living in either Nashville or California.
Okay.
Because I would have pursued a lot more of my riskier dreams because I would not have had to support anybody other than myself. I agree with it on that level.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that I am with my wife and, made that, I hate to say sacrifice because I don't want to describe getting married to her as a sacrifice.
Well, it's a decision.
But there you go. Thank you. It was a conscious decision that I cared about her more than I cared about pursuing some dream, whether or not it could have come true, being irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I completely disagree with that. Well, with this fact that he wouldn't have accomplished these things if he had, if he was married or had love, because like Bryce had just said, that's a conscious decision that he made to
I see
basically get
So you're saying if he could have still had the same drive even if he was married.
Yeah.
And if he was married to somebody good, they would have let that drive flourish.
Exactly. They would have pushed him. So that's a completely wrong and stupid statement. You know what I'm saying? It's just that
now,
he
don't
never
get me
took
wrong.
the time to find the right one to motivate him and push him towards what he wants to accomplish.
The right one.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you take that other scenario and you put him with, some controlling women, and I'm not oblivious, there are women out there who, men better be, or their man better be to their beck and call.
Mm-hmm.
And, something like that can be stifling.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. See, but it's like what you're saying. I
That's
agree.
why I don't have a band anymore.
Yeah, see? Well, I don't want to say see, but yeah, but it's like what you say. It's like he had the possibility of him finding that woman though is the thing though. Like what's
the time it would have taken him dating and finding the right woman would have taken away from his time inventing.
Exactly.
I feel like the men who believe in MGTOW don't even. They're the type of people who may have tried love, like Jared had said, got hurt, and then shut all women out. You know, like if people ever listen to the song, I believe it was an old song. I think I want to say Temptations, but I might be wrong. But the song, it takes a fool to learn that love don't love nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as in, you're gonna be considered a fool to love, and to love again, and to love again, and to love again. Because what's the definition of insanity? To
repeatedly do the same things over, expecting a different result.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to some that is considered to be a fool.
Yeah.
But that's how you have to be. You can't sit here and basically fail in a relationship and then just come to the conclusion that all relationships and all women are the same.
And this is not directed towards you specifically, because I've never had an issue with your personality yet.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
But I also know, I'm thinking of some people specifically that, relationship fail. In definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And the reason why some people, their relationships fail is because they're doing everything the exact same way. They're not looking at it and seeing, I have to do something different. Exactly. And sometimes it's just you're dating the wrong kind of woman. Sometimes that's it. But sometimes there's something about yourself, emotionally, I hate to say physically, but sometimes physically.
Definitely physically, yes.
Or even just, what you believe or how you treat women, that you do have to fucking take a look in the mirror and you need to fucking change. Perfect example. When I was in my first serious relationship, and granted, this is like, older teenager at, type shit, 17, 18 years old. I was a jealous asshole. And it took me, honestly, even until probably a year or two into dating Sarah, I was still a jealous asshole.
Okay.
It was that kind of thing where, she was hanging out with a guy, I would, with friends, obviously hanging out with the guy alone, I do think there's a little bit of cause for suspicion at that point. But I'm sure some women are going to hate me even saying that. But see, I'm not completely a zero. But, I would get angry about it. And it's funny because I've done a complete 180. I realized that was wrong. And now I'm the exact opposite. Now I'm like, yeah, I want you to be jealous.
Yeah, but why was it wrong? Why was it wrong? Why did you come to the decision that was wrong? That way
was it because of your irrational feelings or thoughts when it came to that situation?
Well, if you think that whoever you're with cannot be trusted alone, kind of like we were joking around a little bit earlier, if you're texting somebody and you're like, hey, where are you at? If you're checking up on somebody, either one, that person's not trustworthy, or two, you just don't trust anybody.
Right, and trust.
And
is
for me,
one of the biggest.
And for me, it's not that
things
trust.
in a relationship.
It's not that Sarah wasn't trustworthy. For me, it was that I wasn't trusting her when I should have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, and that's the thing. I was the common thread. You know, with my first serious girlfriend, one of the girlfriends I had in between her and Sarah. I only had a couple girlfriends in between her and Sarah, to be honest.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sarah, at the beginning, I was jealous in every situation
Mm-hmm.
for no reason. There was no reason that I was given to be jealous.
You're
over.
hardwired that way.
I mean, I don't want to go into details because, quite honestly, it's embarrassing. I mean, like to the point where, like, I'll say this, you know, to the point with one of them where I accused one of them of cheating. I had no reason to think that.
Don't worry.
Nowadays, I don't think they cheated.
I've done that.
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times.
I've been in a relationship as well where I've been with someone who cheated on me, and I decided to take her back. And then, you know, I became that jealous guy. I always accused her, always called her, you know, and asked her where you at and what you doing, and, you know, looked at her phone and do all that kind of crazy jealous type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like the man that I became, you know, so that's why I chose to leave that relationship.
But see, exactly. So I mean, you can sit here and say, oh, you know, you're doing the same thing over and again, but obviously you're not doing the same thing over again because you changed a very important aspect of it, and now you're engaged.
Exactly. With the love of my life.
Yeah, but you had to.
Hence why it's not a level 1.
Yeah, but did you? But with that, does it come new barriers that you've put up?
I would say I'm more aware to the signs.
See, and that's the thing. I think that's what's.
Yeah, because having, you know, trusting women more doesn't mean absolute trust.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
Right.
that, you know, if him and his fiance don't have sex for 6 months, that doesn't mean he's gonna be like, oh, I trust you're not fucking anyone else.
Oh no, I'm definitely think you fucking somebody
After
else.
6 months, I think I'd be thinking my wife
I
was
think
fucking
after
someone
a
else.
month, I would think that you're fucking
Trust me.
somebody
Been
else.
there.
I think
Been there, done that.
at that point, I'd be every time you guys came over, I'd be like, Sarah, why are you looking at Jarrett?
Yeah.
I mean,
Why are you looking at Josh?
bro,
Is it because he's black?
I would.
trust me. I don't know if I said it on our podcast of how crazy I went during my marriage after 6 months. But trust me, I was to the point I was tracking phones. I was calling people. Like I was basically.
I once had and it was a woman in my family who said this because they were gossiping about somebody else in our extended family, and it's like if you're not having, you know, it's one of those things. If you know your wife isn't having sex with you after 6 months, I don't know if this was true in your case, but I would have suspected that it would have been. They're probably getting it from somewhere because women stereotypically do not have as high of sex drives as men. Stereotypically, nobody jump on me about it, but they still want to have sex.
Yeah.
See, but that's the thing though.
They don't want to go 6 months.
See, that's the thing though.
Because I tell you, if me and Sarah go a full week without sex, she's fine. She's seeking me out. I'm usually the one who initiates it, but after a full week, she's like, "Oh, I need some dick."
Yeah.
See, but remember, this is what I said before about
Sorry, Sarah.
having an open communication. Like I feel like a lot of dudes are very upfront, and I've said it before. Like a lot of dudes are very upfront, especially when we come to the topic of sex.
When we come,
And yeah, well, when we discuss the topic of sex, but women a lot of times aren't. You know what I'm saying? Not every woman. And this is once again I'm stereotyping, but they may not say or much, you know, or it might be something else affecting their sex drive. It's not sex. It's not that they have a low libido. It's just that something else is bothering them, and it's kind of like affecting the libido.
I think. Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah,
Because
so
there's a lot of things that can affect your sex drive. Period.
yeah, and
But I think a lot of it too is, and I'm just going in blind. I don't know if this is applicable to your situation or not. If somebody finds that they're losing that attraction to somebody that they're in a committed relationship with, it's hard to tell them that, especially if you've been with them for a long time, because you don't want to be like, you can't just come out and be like, I'm not attracted to you. You can't just come out and be like, I don't want to have sex with you anymore. You can't just be out like, hey, I don't love you anymore. You know, that was like my dad and, you know, his ex-wife is, you know, it wasn't a particularly volatile split, thankfully. But, you know, at first he had that, you know, distrust of women. And it's like, Dad, she didn't leave you just to hurt you. She didn't plan on falling out of love with you. It sucks that it happened. But when she got married to you, she intended on keeping her vows. Did she keep her vows? No.
see, but that's the man. Look, all right. So I'm gonna be very personal right now,
Okay.
like I always am anyway.
It's about to get real.
This is why I kind of teeter on the lines of like different levels of MGTOW. You know, maybe even like towards the middle. And I know we didn't cover off them, but we'll come back to it. I remember one time I was overseas, right? I was on deployment because, like I said, me and my ex, we were in the same platoon. So we went to a lot of different countries together.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I got super drunk. This is actually the second time I did. I did it once with my ex fiance. Then I did it with my ex wife. We got super drunk, and cried. Right, like hardcore. I don't care what y'all think of me. This is really happening, right?
Because you a little bitch.
Shut up.
So any woman that you've cried in front of, it's not worked out with.
Well, let me tell you.
Is that the common thread here?
Yeah. I gotta stop crying in front of women. Here's the thing though. Like I cried, like not even like a little bit. Like I was like damn near like about to die. I was crying so hard. You know what I'm saying?
I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry.
Like, you probably would have thought like I got hit with a belt by watching my puppy get hit by a car.
You in the fetal position and in camouflage.
Yeah, like pretty much that's what it was. Like everything. Like I just found out Santa Claus wasn't real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how bad. You know.
Hey,
and
man.
Sorry, kids.
That shit fucked me up too when I found out.
Yeah. So
You can do an episode about that around Christmas.
so anyway, so I was crying, and I remember I was saying to her, I was like, she's like, why are you crying? And I was like, because one of these days you're gonna leave me. And she's like, no, I'm not. I was like, yes, you are. I was like, one of these days you're gonna leave me, and I'm freaking out right now because I feel like you're going to leave me. And I remember, and I thought about it the other day. Honestly, I thought about how weak, in a sense, that I was. Like I at that point when I said that, and I didn't think about it at the time, but I think about it now, being almost 30, that when I said that, I was confiding in her for all my happiness. And at that single moment, I knew that if she ever left me, I was going to be dead for a while.
In a way, you can kind of say that was your moment of enlightenment.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When a divorce did happen, what happened?
You told her like, bitch, I told you you're gonna leave me.
And I fucking crumbled.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna happen.
Happen.
I knew it because
you saw the inevitable.
Yeah. Because when I broke, the thing is, I broke with my ex fiance over something that I'm not gonna go into the show about.
Right.
But I remember I even got sad over that, but I wasn't like crying. You know what I'm saying? I was just hurt like real bad. Like when I got divorced, I was dead to the world.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what makes sense because now I'm to a point where like I never want to feel that again. And it goes to a thing of like, you can say that you're gonna be with me, that you'll never leave me, even when I'm at my lowest, showing you every ounce of my soul. And you still do it. You know? So it's like, what's the point of investing all this into a girl, you know, or anybody, you know, whatever your flavor is, when all that's going to happen is I'm just going to get hurt and be back to that small, you know, mushy puddle for a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just getting over my divorce after almost a year. You know what I'm saying? And I understand it. And I feel bad now. I do feel bad because now when I talk to girls, I do talk to them from a standoffish point. You know, I'm really upfront with them. Yes, I'm really upfront, but at the same time, I feel back. I feel like, you know, the girls I may talk to, they may want more, and I can't provide it because I don't want to go down that route anymore.
So, but even at that point, that still only puts you at a level 2. So level 3 is called the civil MGTOW. Rejects all forms of personal relationships with women, including dating, one-night stands, friendships, etc. Any contact with unfamiliar women is kept strictly professional and at a minimum. So at a level 3 civil MGTOW, you're already not having sex.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure you're not a level 3.
No. I gotta have sex. I don't know about that.
You know,
and sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, I would love to talk to somebody who's a level 5 MGTOW, because basically
I would say 3 and up. I would say 3 and up.
Hold on,
can
you get to 4 first before you hit 5?
Well, I wasn't gonna explain it. I just saying I would love to talk to somebody who's actually like he said, a level 3 and up, because basically 3 and up is like you're a fucking nun in a way.
Yeah, you might as well be a priest at that point.
Yeah.
No, never mind. I'll keep that joke to myself.
So level 4 is a ghost to MGTOW, and you can tell from the names here. The names are quite descriptive. Rejects females entirely. Refuses to produce more than strictly necessary for his individual survival. He will do as much work off the books as possible to avoid taxation, and will remain in the lowest tax bracket possible without jeopardizing his quality, fun life, and acceptable standard. He focuses on hobbies and living. And so when the video, I believe this is when they started talking about the way that women are with money. Yeah. And basically in the video we watched, basically the generalization was that women are only with you for your money. I mean, that's kind of the generalization for this whole entire thing.
Oh,
and I'm not sitting here saying that there's none like that, but fuck, this generalizes a lot.
If I can jump in real quick, the video we watched is called Introduction to MGTOW by Sandman. So if you want to know exactly what's going on, just watch that video, and then that's what we're discussing.
Yeah.
Right.
Warning: his voice is very annoying.
Okay.
Wanted to punch him in the face. I said that then, and I say it fucking now on camera. If you're watching it, I don't give a shit. I want to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll videotape that too and put it on the podcast.
Bitch.
It got so real all of a sudden.
Takeoff showdown. Sunday.
Yeah. So we got our views. We just fight other channels.
Live on
Fist
pay-per-view.
fight. So anyways, last level, level 5. Exile MGTOW. Drops out of society altogether. Minimizes contact with the blue pill world, which is the level 0. And seeks to further his own ends on his own terms. For all intents and purposes, he does not exist. An urbanite might keep to his own apartment, while some further out may simply head into the wilderness and go off grid. So that's like, I don't even know.
That's complete nunnery type.
That's when you get
shit.
Well, here's the thing.
That's like you're not taking a shower at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's too far for me. But I was watching this documentary. I forget the name they call them now, but it's pretty much these virgins.
Mm-hmm.
Virgins, sorry.
Virgins.
And they've obviously never had contact with women because they're virgins. But they stay in the house. They're like introverts and they're virgins, and they have no social skills outside the internet.
So it's like an introvert MGTOW exile times a million.
That's just a social exile. Fuck that.
Well, what they
It's
were
a hermit.
Yeah, they were discussing the
Yeah.
fact that the reason that they are like that because they've either tried having a shot with women and they get rejected, and they just completely just
That's
go to like a cave.
Saying that you have no self-esteem, no game, no confidence.
basically because you can't find a woman, you blame the woman.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, yeah, but
Because that's not the case. Let's say, even in your case, obviously it's not that extreme, but even in your case, it's not that you can't find a woman, it's that you haven't found the right woman.
yeah. See,
And whether or not you want to is up to you. And nobody can tell you that's right or wrong. Don't get me wrong.
No, I mean, you're completely right. Because I mean, in case anybody who I've talked to is watching this or listening to this, it's not that they've been bad women at all. They're just, I'm very cautious.
They weren't right for you.
Yeah, or right now, I don't even know what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? I'm at this point, I'm just hoping that I hit something that I really like. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's fine.
Because I've tried in the past to pinpoint girls that I liked and, where to lead me. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, maybe I need a reboot. Maybe I need to start over and find somebody totally new. But I wouldn't, and that's why I say I don't really, my level can't be too high because I don't foresee myself becoming an introvert, just leaving women completely alone. That's crazy.
Not a level 3+.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I wouldn't even say who's the guy that we just said that
Sandman?
the guy who the people look up to.
Oh, Nicholas Tesla.
Yeah, I doubt he's even level 5.
No.
Oh, hell no.
No,
I
he's
doubt it.
probably like a level 2. But what they were saying is
I
like
said level 3 at the most because
yeah.
if you're a billionaire and you accomplish all these fucking things, all these great things, and you ain't fucking,
I mean,
that's like.
But here's the thing, though.
That has nothing to do with your interest
Yeah.
in your ability to get women. That has to do with your interest in getting women.
Yes.
Right, but I'm saying, if you have all this money and stuff, getting women, I would think for you would be easy, and just to use them,
No.
Yeah, but see, that's
Not saying it's right, but
yeah,
he's
that's
right.
right, but that's what he would kind of think.
Yeah, but that's another side of this MGTOW, because they say it's especially useful for people like in their early 20s and stuff, because your early 20s is where you do,
Experiment.
Yeah, you do your experiments. You try to chase your dreams. This is stuff that happens. But when you're locked down in love, you tend not to do it. You tend to make sacrifices or decisions to not do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? I did it. I gave up my audio engineering, career when I was in California to move to South Carolina to support my ex. You know what I'm saying? Those things happen. And I think what they were saying is when you don't do that, and it's not that you have to say that women are bad. You don't have to not have sex. You just have to be about yourself at the end of the day. You have to be just upfront. Look, if we're going to have sex, we're just going to have sex. And after that, you need to leave. You can take a sandwich on the way out, but that's it. And, it's funny because I was talking to my nephew about it. My nephew's 16, and he wanted to show me a video game. And on the background of his PS4 was a picture of him and his girlfriend kissing. Now, I don't care. He's 16. When I was 16, my hormones were high. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I had to talk to him. I go, look, man, maybe this is me saying the wrong thing as an uncle, but I said, look, man, I think that you having a girlfriend is cool and everything, but I think you need to really focus on yourself for now, don't put all your energy into her, because all you're going to do is not do your dreams. Like, you want to move, you want to go out the state, and you want to go to a different college. Like, she lives here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you if you decide to lose your dreams or give up your dreams when you're only 18, you know, because that's when he's going to leave. You know what I mean? For someone who may not even want to follow you, then you're just going to hurt yourself.
There's a big problem with that, though. You said he's 16 now, and you're talking about him being 18, right?
Right.
Sarah was 16 when we started dating.
Mm-hmm.
I was 18.
It's a lot different for women than it is for guys, I would think.
But even that being, you know, regardless of that, you know, if somebody had said to Sarah, oh, hey, you know, you shouldn't put too much stock. I mean, I agree with it in the sense that you shouldn't hang your entire life on that.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't, you know, stop all your plans for that, especially at that age. But, you know, it's a fine line, because at the same time you can't be like, oh, this person's just going to drag you down. Which,
Right.
I mean, that's not what you were saying. But
Well,
it's the possibility, you know,
Yeah.
when you
It's-
think about a woman or a boyfriend more than yourself, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to focus on the things that you need to focus on to get to your next step in life.
there's a certain point, like I said, there's a fine line. It's a balancing beam, if you will,
mm-hmm.
is between making sure that you are living your life to the fullest, even if that includes, you know, loving someone and even making some sacrifices for them. But there's a fine line between that and just, you know, putting your life on hold for someone else. You know, me and Sarah dating, that didn't stop us from going to college. That didn't stop us from getting careers.
But the thing about that is that a lot of people, that fine line isn't realized until it's too late.
Yeah.
And
No, agreed. Because, you know, for me, they're not fucking watching this, so I don't give a shit.
Mm.
You know, the reason I don't have a band, I believe, is because of my guitarist he prioritized his relationship over the band. And it wasn't even a long distance thing. But, you know, when you're leaving band practices to go visit your girlfriend who's less than 3 miles away, you know, when she's on her break at work, you know, that to me, that's the extreme, because it's like you are
a blue pill.
you are stopping doing something else that you deemed to be important enough to make it something that you do every week.
Right.
Because of another woman that you could see at any other time.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing, though. And that's what I was talking to my nephew about. Because now think about it. If my nephew,
I'm gonna start some beef on here.
if he wants to go to Georgia, that's where he wants to go to college, right?
Yeah.
Ain't gonna do shit,
And he wants to go to Georgia,
bitch.
and his girl wants to stay here in Michigan.
Yeah.
You know, what happens? Does he go, oh, damn, I love this girl so much, I'm going to stay here and not go to the school I really want to because I love her?
See, good example. That's a good example,
Yeah.
because at that point he would be putting his dreams on hold,
See-
or throwing them out the window. With me and Sarah, we didn't care about going to specific colleges, so that wasn't a consideration for us.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, it has to be levels. And that's why, like, maybe it's just me being salty and having the experience that I have. You know, I don't want my nephew to go down the same road. You know, like I said, I was in California at one point, and I was doing everything I wanted to do to become an audio engineer. I did everything, you know what I'm saying? But at the moment where things got to a point where I could actually make that happen, I gave it up.
I
You know?
wasn't there for the conversation. I hope that the way that your point came across, and I hope that you agree with this, is that it is okay for you to love this person, but don't lose yourself in the process.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I was trying to explain to him. I was like, it's not bad for you to have love or you know, or to want to be in a relationship with someone, especially if they're a good person.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand, especially being young, I was like, the possibility, especially these days, the possibility of you breaking up, finding somebody else, losing yourself, they're very high. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that it's not that I think any less of this girl. I don't know this girl from a bag of rocks. You know what I'm saying? Not saying she's a dumb bag of rocks, probably a bad, you know, simile. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know this girl at all.
Ugly.
You know, she could be a genius. She could be a low-key rocket scientist. And it might be in his best interest to stay with her because she might be on the come up. You know what I'm saying? Which is horrible. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know.
Box of rocks.
Yeah, but at the same time, shut up. But at the same time,
Her face is lumpy.
but I can't say anything about the girl's looks because she's 16, and you better have me sound like a pedophile. But the thing is, you know, and maybe this girl has just as much as a bright future, and maybe the fact that she's dating my nephew is going to slow her down. You know what I'm saying? And I would say the same thing if I had a niece. Well, I do have a niece, but if my niece was about to leave and go off to college soon, it would be in the same predicament. I had the same conversations with her. You know what I mean? So, but it's just the thing. Like maybe it's best. Maybe to me, I feel like maybe it's best, at least in your early 20s, to roll solo.
To find yourself. And that's what I wanted to say when you had said don't lose yourself. I think when us men, at least, I think anybody who gets into a serious relationship at a young age, you don't even know yourself. Because I feel like that the only way you find out what you like and who you are as a person and who you're going to become is through multiple experiences. Mm-hmm. So if you don't live to the point where you find those experiences, then I feel like, at a young age, you don't know yourself, and you don't really find yourself until you get of an older age.
So anybody? You say that to anybody?
Most people, yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, because
anybody?
I say majority, and I do say that because also, like we was gonna say at the beginning of the show, while I was gonna say, you feel the way you did, in which we didn't really kind of go on too much, is because you haven't had the type of experiences that me and Jared had. You know what I'm saying? So your level of like per se hate for women, or
your perspective is different.
Your perception of women is different from me and his, because you haven't had that type of failed interaction with women like we'd have.
No, and that's agreed. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
I did too.
Well, obviously, this is gonna sound so fucking stereotypical that it pisses me off. Is Sarah and I are very unique in multiple ways. I was always really mature growing up. No way around saying it. She lost her dad at 16, and when something like that happens to you, I think that has a tendency to kind of make you grow up too.
Yeah, it does.
Especially because she had a younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
So when we both started dating, we were, we were both, managers at our jobs before 20 years old. That tells you the kind of personality that we have. So, obviously we're unique personalities, but
relationship goals.
But we've also, been able to still grow in the way that most people do, but with each other. And don't get me wrong, I think what happens with a lot of couples is when they do start dating young, they're not done growing. I actually agree with you, believe it or not. I'm just giving you a hard time before. They grow, especially when they start dating young, and then they're not fully grown into the person they're going to become for the rest of their lives. But then while they're dating or while they're married, they become that person, and they realize they're not in love with the other person anymore. Yeah. That's what I think happens with a lot of younger people. I do actually believe that luck played a little bit of a role in me and Sarah, in that, when we started dating, like I said, I was very jealous. That's a perfect example. I was not fully grown into the man that I would become today.
Right.
And I grew into the man I became today, and she grew into the woman that she is today. And it just so happens we lucked out. We still love each other.
Right.
Now,
and you became that through experiences.
Yeah.
Now,
whereas, yeah. Go ahead.
How would you feel? I don't even want to say it on yours because I like your relationship. I don't want anything to happen to it.
You got to say it now, though, because now I'm curious.
Okay. And say for the off chance, in a different universe, your wife goes, I don't like the person you become. And then everything you built at this moment, she's just like, I'm ready to say goodbye to you. And then you're potentially losing everything that you had.
Oh, being completely real, I think I'd be just like you. I think I'd be hurt, especially after being together with her for almost 12 years. And I think that I would, reject a certain level of interaction with women for at least quite some time. I don't doubt it one bit. No offense, I've seen you go through it. I've seen my dad go through it. I think that that's a normal reaction to being hurt. I think no matter what happens, if you get robbed in the middle of the night on the street, you're probably not going to go back on that street for a while.
Hell yeah. Being divorced is like being robbed for years.
Yeah, or
slowly.
Or getting jumped by yourself.
Yeah, over and over.
Like,
you're not going to go down that street for a while.
Yeah.
If ever.
You're not going to go to a party by yourself, a club to get by yourself, nowhere.
I cut myself chopping vegetables in my house, and I threw the knife away. I'll never use that knife again.
That's just some dumb ass.
Thank you. I was just thinking that.
I'm just messing with you.
But I don't believe you. You're not messing with me.
I did curse out the knife.
You're just embarrassed. But no, going back to what we were saying earlier, and I think the reason why you guys, I would say if anything, I'm a 0.5. You're a 0.75.
I can
Because
agree
you
with
do
that.
go a little bit further than me. You know, if you don't believe me, watch some of our past episodes, Men and Sex, for example.
Yeah.
Men and Commitment, for another example. But
I like versus plugs, man. That's
but
He's good at this.
yeah.
a lot of it is born from your personal experiences. I've had, at least in the last 12 years, good experiences. You've had some experiences that I've not had. You've definitely had some experiences I've not had.
That has some hella
You know,
experiences.
and
Right.
that affects who you are. That affects what you believe. I don't give a shit who you are. You know, that's going to affect you.
They say pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, same thing. You know, one thing that I think, for example, that I don't think we agree on 100%. And one thing that honestly probably pissed me off more than anything that we watched on the video is, as you get, I think, towards level 4 and level 5, that's where they start talking about, you know, women being with you, you know, just for your money and shit.
Yeah.
And the example they used, huh?
They start to generalize
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, they do. And the one that really pissed me off is he's talking about, you know, when there was, you know, big power outages, you know, he said women are out, you know, shopping while the men are the ones restoring power.
Yeah, which is stupid.
And first off, technically he's probably right, just because generally men work in those industries more. But that's where you can get into the whole sexism thing, and that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
But my problem with that is I've seen women that are about the money. Unfortunately, that's fucking true.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you saying that all the women are like that,
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. I don't know.
but that's why alimony exists. So
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see both. I guess it was funny. Josh and I were talking before, and I said, I think it was you and I that were talking, and I said, the day that they perfect sex androids is the day that women's downfall starts.
I think that could go both ways.
Yeah, that definitely goes both ways.
I don't think
now that
so.
about it.
I don't
Because
think so.
I think when
Well, you know, I kind of agree. I think it would be worse for women. The downfall of women would be worse than the downfall of men would be, because men can live and function and do more things a lot of times without connection more than women.
Yeah, but think about it. If we evolve into just a physical need, you know, we don't even need emotion. Like I mean, yes, it's great to have the emotional ties. Don't get me wrong.
Right, it's great.
It's great. It's great to be down and have someone bring you a cup of coffee when you at the coffee table, you know, about to break down because your bills ain't been paid. You know what I'm saying?
Arguably the best thing ever.
Yeah, but for these people who are level 4s and 5s,
You're just stupid.
okay,
Yeah.
so here's where I'm gonna say something that's would be considered more misogynistic than what I would usually say. So my problem with that, going back to the sex style thing, is I don't think women would have any problem, because in my opinion, men generally will fuck anything that moves. And so if all the good men start fucking sex dolls, women are just going to go find another man that'll fuck them. I don't think it's hard that's the thing, is when a woman and a guy break up, I think a woman's going to have a lot easier time getting laid than the guy.
I mean, that's in general. That's how it is right now. Women always have a easier time to get laid than we do. But the thing is that if the good men is fucking the sex dolls, then all there is left is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, then women are gonna be fucking pieces of shit, and that's gonna bring them down. You know, and that's what we say. That's gonna lead to the fall of women, because they're gonna have to pick from is these piece of shit ass men.
yeah, because all the guys who are like driving Bentleys and living the Tesla lives.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but they're still going to be able to find the men.
well, of course, yeah.
They're not going to be.
Fine.
But the problem with that too, let's face it, sex dolls get perfected. It's going to be the men who can't get laid that are going to be buying the sex dolls.
Exactly. Or it's gonna be the man who don't want to deal with women.
Yeah, I really disagree with that.
I think the men who don't want to deal with women though are just going to go fucking do one night stands.
Bryce, I'm telling you right now, if they made an artificial vagina that felt like the real thing and secreted like the real thing, and it only cost $50, I guarantee that
That
bitch
is a tall order. But that's the main reason, is because like until they do that exact thing, they make it relatively affordable and they make it feel like the real thing. And if they can make the woman's body move and pulsate the way that a real body moves.
You ain't gotta get it to move. Dudes fuck their hands. Hands don't move that much. Have your hand ever mown?
I don't know. When I'm with a woman, I like a woman that moves.
Yeah,
You gotta have that.
You can kind of
That ebb and flow.
the what?
The ebb and flow.
Ebb and flow. I never
No,
heard
ebb
that.
and flow.
At first, I thought you said ebb and flow.
Have you
I
never
was like,
heard the phrase ebb and
I have
flow?
heard ebb
No.
and flow. I just think it was
I
funny.
think you said Eben. Like what the fuck is
Like the
Eben?
Ebb and Hawk Star Wars.
I don't know what the fuck you saying, but explain that.
So just the ebb and, it's just a phrase. That's all.
Yeah.
It's just a phrase for the motion of the ocean, and not just sexually, but just the way that
Like a response.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go to what you're saying. We got to hear
But in masturbations, a lot of times, we get into that shit. You know what I'm saying? We get the, the moving and the stroking and the, maybe a little hand vibration, moving. We can get pretty creative when it comes to that shit.
Yeah.
I got to train my hand more. I don't.
Sidetrack.
It's the next level masturbation.
Sidetrack.
Right there.
Yeah, we didn't.
You ever be masturbating and you start talking dirty?
I have not.
What level?
What? Really?
What inception masturbation level are you in?
I think if you start talking to yourself, when you
Not talking to myself.
talking dirty, you're talking to your hand, basically. Talking to yourself.
As I'm saying, like,
That's some next level ass shit, yo.
yeah, do that. Yeah, get off my fingers in there.
What the fuck?
Use the
No.
knuckles.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay, that's where
No.
we can wrap it.
All right. Anyway,
I want a guest on for this. So please, more than any episode we've ever done before, please hit us up and so we can do a response episode of this topic.
Yeah, 'cause I do want to come back to this. 'Cause I had some other things I wanted to say about what they said in the video about men's value going up later in life versus women's.
Yeah.
But, I feel like we can come back to
That'd be
it.
a great topic.
We'll come back to it.
Which I agree with.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it white
Even
girl still
though
love?
some women do get fine as fuck as they get older.
Angela Bassett. She's like my top woman who's got older and still gotten finer somehow throughout the years.
Is she famous? Or
And yeah, well,
Oh.
Whoa, what? Okay, that's the end of the podcast.
anyways, we want to
Final
thank.
thoughts.
We want final thoughts. My final thoughts is just I want to do a response episode of this really bad.
yeah, me too.
Comment, message, email, takeoff.anytimepc@gmail.com. Oh, we are on the major platforms: Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio.
All DSPs.
And if you
Google Play.
if you Google Takeoff Anytime, you will see a couple different sources to watch or listen to us. So please follow us,
Please.
subscribe.
Mine is just because you get hurt, don't ghost. Okay, it's too much. It's too much. Take your time.
Stay with the fight.
Have some rebounds. Talk to your hand if you're Bryce, and then get back out there.
Fuck you.
Don't be a fool to love. And I can't believe this motherfucker don't know who Angela Bassett is.
We're gonna Google this.
Oh, you know what, man? We were listening to that before the podcast. You know, a perfect song to end on, right?
Wait, which one?
Do you believe in life after love?
Oh my god, you did the white boy like neck roll too. It was hilarious.
Anyways, hey, this is the episode of Takeoff Anytime Podcast. We'd like to thank and appreciate everybody who fuck with us. And if you don't fuck with us, oh well, we're gonna take off anyway. I'm Josh B. Easy. We out.
MGTOW.